Holy folly, you are God living in her own dream. Welcome to a Mystics channel. You can call me Agape from Love Has Won Mystery School, and in these videos I share insights and updates that I enjoy sharing and that you might find beneficial as well. So the first thing that I'd like to share in this video is that you are the infinite possibilities of the present moment. To experience anything in particular, any particular reality, any particular feeling, you have to limit yourself from infinite possibilities, from infinity to finite, in order to experience one particular thing. When you're in your purest state, nothing is manifest, no particular reality is manifested, you're just in pure potential. When you focus on a particular reality in order to experience it, you naturally have to filter out all other possibilities from your perception so that you can experience that particular one. So you're limiting yourself temporarily, seemingly limiting yourself just to experience something. The second thing to share in this video is that behind every judgment is a deep longing to connect with someone. So if someone's judging you, in actual fact, that's not an attack on you. That's a curiosity from their being to get to know you. There's a longing there to get to know you. But either they don't know how to connect in a deeper way, or they haven't had the opportunity to connect, or they're afraid to connect with you. So in actual fact, you can take every judgment as a positive thing. Oh, this person wants to connect with me but doesn't know how or hasn't had the opportunity. So do with that what you will. You might decide to connect with that person, or you might just enjoy seeing their judgments. But judgments are a way of kind of the ego throwing things and labels at you in order to try and fit you into a particular box that the ego already knows. So that's basically what judgment is. It's the ego's way of trying to get to know you. And the more mysterious you seem to someone, the more judgments you get from their egos projected at you, because you thrust them into the unknown, and the ego hates the unknown. So the ego will try even harder to fit you into particular boxes. And if you remain as the present moment in your purest state, not conforming to anything in particular, remaining spontaneous, remaining unknown, remaining mysterious like the present moment that you are, then the ego will keep throwing judgments, and the person will be faced with the decision. Do I then go connect with that person, to connect with them, to really get to know them beyond all boxes and labels, or do I just judge them from afar, keep judging them from afar? So you give them that decision to make. Some people will choose to continue judging you from afar, and the judgments will get worse and worse. Or a person may decide to come to you and connect with you in a much deeper way. And those connections are beautiful, because you see those judgments soon fall away so quickly because they realize that they're not true. And if you remain open only to present moment connections, unscripted, deep or playful connections, then you connect with that person so deeply, so quickly, that it's just magical. They can become overwhelmed with joy and love in just a few seconds of eye gazing. And the final thing to share in this video is that behind every anger or hatred is actually a deep love for someone. So it follows a similar theme to judgment, but anger and hatred shows that there's an inner conflict within someone, okay? There's an inner conflict, meaning that a part of them is really drawn to you, really loves what you're doing or how you're being, but another part of them is resisting it and doesn't like it. And that conflict manifests as anger and hatred. So often you might do something, say something, or be something that their egos don't like, and that's where the resistance comes in. You do something that they don't like. Usually if you're the purer channel of the present moment you are, the more their egos don't like it, because you're unpredictable, you're not fulfilling the ego's expectations, and perhaps you do things that they're actually jealous of, and so they project that jealousy as anger. However, at the same time, there's this deep love for what you're doing and how you're being, because perhaps you're doing, as I said, doing something that they actually want to do themselves, or perhaps part of them, their true self, really enjoys that you're surprising them, that you're doing something unique and different, and that really draws them in. So there's this inner conflict within them, and this inner conflict manifests as anger and hatred. So again, you can see, just like judgment, you can see anger and hatred towards you as actually there's a big part of them that is really drawn to you and loves you. However, there's just like a big resisting ego for the moment in the way. Because if there was not this deep love for what you're doing and how you're showing up, then there would be no resistance, there would be no conflict within that person. And so there would be nothing to manifest as anger and hatred. Someone would just be like, oh, I don't resonate with what they're doing, I don't like it, and then you just move on. There would be no cause for anger and hatred towards you. They just kind of ignore you or not pay you any attention. However, they can't help it because they're very drawn to you, because part of them really loves what you're doing and how you're showing up. So part of them is really drawn to you and part of them doesn't want to be drawn to you. And that shows up as anger and hatred, often through words and actions projected to you. So I personally take these things as very endearing, and I actually take them as positive things. What I would personally not like is if I'm not triggering someone, if someone is not judging me, if someone is not projecting anger and hatred towards me. That to me is more worrying, because it means that there's not a part of them that really wants to connect with me or is really drawn to me. However, if someone is judging me and projecting anger and hate towards me, that means, yes, there's a big part of them really loves me. And if you know certain techniques to get the ego slowly out of the way, then you know how to turn that anger, hatred, and judgment into just deep love and joy. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. And I'll see you next time. Yours joygasmically, Agape.